Hi, Amelia, National Campaigns Director with the Wilderness Society, joining you from Ngunnawal Country. We've just been at the Press Club listening to the new Environment Minister, Tanya Plibersek, deliver her address. She also released the much-awaited State of the Environment report. As we know, it's a very sobering read, so let's not dwell on that. Let's talk about what the Minister actually committed to do. The Wilderness Society really welcomes the timetable that's been set out for national environmental law reform. This means overhauling the EPBC Act and creating an independent Environment Protection Agency, as Labor has promised. But with the timetable being next year, what's very important is that the existing EPBC Act is properly enforced in the meantime. We also welcomed the Minister's comments about Australia being a global deforestation hotspot. She knows the figures. She knows that land clearing and logging is out of control. And what we need to see is movement in the direction to wind back these out of control deforestation rates, again ahead of the reform of the EPBC Act as much as through the reforms. We also welcomed the Minister's comments about needing to bring, not even restore, but bring community trust and integrity to environmental decision making. The Minister talked about this a lot, and we all know that at the last federal election, Australians voted at a large scale for integrity in politics. What the Albanese government needs to do is make sure that as a government with integrity, they deliver for protecting nature, restoring the environment and turning things around on the climate, because that's what Australians voted for. What we heard the Minister say today is that her government has three key objectives for the environment: protect, restore and manage. And Minister Plibersek's really got it right, because protecting the environment is what needs to happen as a priority, in first order priority ahead of restoring and improving management. The Minister also spoke a lot about trust and integrity in environmental decision making. And in May, Australians voted in a parliament where they wanted to see trust and integrity restored to politics. We also know that Australians expect the environment portfolio to be high-powered and to have integrity. Today, Minister Plibersek set out an agenda for environmental law reform, for bringing in an independent Environment Protection Agency, and also to wind back the rates of habitat loss for threatened species. There's a lot of work to do. There's not a lot of time to turn things around, but things seem to be heading in a much more positive direction. What we didn't hear the Minister talk about today is the importance of recovery plans for threatened species. So while the State of the Environment report shows that there's been yet more threatened plants and animals added to our nation's threatened species list, we didn't hear the Minister talk about recovery plans. These are really critical plans for turning around the fortunes of native species to help them beat extinction. The last government unjustifiably scrapped almost 200 recovery plans for iconic Australian wildlife like the Tasmanian devil. Today, we'd hope to hear Minister Plibersek speak about the importance of restoring those 176 recovery plans and also bringing in updated and well-funded recovery plans for millions or thousands of threatened species, plants and animals that don't have the proper resources to thrive into the future. The Wilderness Society would very much like to see this government do two things to help deliver a safe climate and also protect and restore Australia's precious natural environment. One, we'd like the government to end the mindless release of swathes of ocean areas for fossil fuel expansion and exploration. Every year, marine wilderness environments are handed over to the fossil fuel sector to explore, to mine oil and gas. Yet the era of mining oil and gas is over. Secondly, we'd like the Albanese government to wind down and stop funding public money towards the fossil fuel sector. We don't want to see any more taxpayer dollars going to fossil fuel corporations. Today, Minister Plibersek didn't speak about either of these things, and that's one thing that we'd like to hear more about in the future.